So today we are going to do how to plan orthognathic surgical cases with 3D slicer. I will show you my workflow. There are many ways that you can do this in 3D slicer, but I will show you one way that you can achieve orthognathic surgical cases virtual surgical planning. So I will use some test data. The first thing is to load the data. So you can import any DICOM data. So here you can see the DICOM data, and you can just simply drag and drop onto the 3D slicer, and then you can use this data. Go here, the DICOM viewer, and then you can load this data into the 3D slicer. So here's the volume, and you can visualize the volume and see whether it's the right volume. And other thing is to import your intra-oral scans. That also you can just simply drag and drop as models. So they are here. And the next step is to segment this CBCT or the CT data. So for that I use the dental segmenter, and you can run the AI to segment the CBCT data. It takes a little time for the AI to work, but this is not the only way that the 3D slicer can be used to segment the data. There are many ways that you can use 3D slicer and segment this data, but I prefer this way, and you have to wait until it processes. And if you want to install these extensions, you can go to the extension manager and search for these extensions if they are not in your system. So likewise you can all the extra extensions that I show here, you can install from the extension manager. So it's actually now running, and we should be able to see our segments in a moment. And now you can see the auto segmentation has been done on the CBCT data. If you disable the volume rendering, you can see the segmented data. So the maxilla and the skull has been segmented separately, mandible separately, upper and lower teeth separately, and the canal separately. So the next step is to align these intraoral scans onto this segmented data. For you to do that, you should first convert these segments into models. So we just need to convert the upper and the lower teeth into models for this step, and then I hide the other segments, so because we don't want to create models from that. And then I will go to this one, and I can make models, and in the advanced tab, if you click only the visible ones will become models. So I clicked it, and just for the sake I'll hide the intraoral scans for now, and I will hide the segments. So these are the exported models. You can see these are exported models. So once you do that, you should go to the fast model align. It's with the slicer morph extension. You can again get it here. So when you install this one, you will get the fast align. Again, there are many ways to align the models, but this is one way that this works really well. So for the source model, you should select the upper teeth, and the source model, you should select the moving model, that the upper intra-oral scan, and as the target model you should select the upper teeth, and then make sure you create a new model. And here in the advanced segment, you should enable the position point subsamples, and this is a settings that works well. You can remember this setting, and if the alignment doesn't go as planned, you can play around with these settings, and we can do how to optimize these settings later and how this module work. So once you done this, you should run the rigid registration and make sure the scaling is turned off. Now it's running. It will take a moment for the alignment to take place. And again, there are a number of ways that you can do the alignment, and depending on what works for you the best, you can choose the system you want. So now you can see it has nicely aligned, and if you want to see the data with the CBCT, you should go to the model and enable the 2D visibility. Then you can see the model being aligned, and as you can see, it's already very nicely aligned. And then you should do the same with the lower one. Make sure you create a new model. And wait for some time. Yes, and again you can see it's again you have to enable the 2D view. And you can see whether you have achieved satisfactory alignment. So I'm happy with the alignment, and I can go ahead with the next steps. But of course there are a number of other ways to improve this alignment if it's not working for you for some reason, but for the today's lesson I will skip that. And to make it easy to visualize, I will just change the colors of the models just to make it easy on the eye. And then next step is to create the skull models. So since I no longer need these models, so I will delete it, or you can hide it depending on what you prefer. Since this is in two segments, there are few ways you can do this. One thing is the way I prefer to do is I like to combine the upper and the mandible together first. So you can go to the logical operators, select the maxilla and add the upper teeth. Make sure you allow overlap, and so once it is done, you can see in the maxilla and the upper skull you get the teeth, and then you do the same with the mandible. You select the mandible, you add the lower teeth to the mandible, and if you want you can add the canal as well. So once you have these two models, this is what you need for the osteotomies. So you select the visible segments and then you again do the same thing. You only export the visible segments. So now you should have these models here. So now you don't need these segments, you can hide them, and what you see is the models, and if you're not happy with the opacity you can increase the opacity. So that there, and I will rename this the intra-oral scan lower, and this iOS upper, so it's easier when we put the transforms. So the next step is just to make the osteotomy cuts. For that we can use the model clip. Again, it's there in the extension manager. So you select which model you want to cut. Say for this case I will just do a simple LIFO1 osteotomy. So I select the maxilla upper skull, and then from here I can create a plane like this. If you want to cut the entire mandible in one go, you can do it like this. And then for better visualization you can hide this one. So just for the sake of this demonstration I will only use single plane right now, and this is not surgically accurate, but it's just for the teaching purpose. And you can put a depth clip, so it will make sure it doesn't cut beyond this. Like this. So once you are happy with it, you can simply clip it. So what it does is it splits the upper skull into two parts. So you can hide it, the original model, and you can see how this has worked. The depth clip plane has stopped the cut go beyond into this part. So it's now nicely osteotomized. So you can just hide the planes, and as you can see our LIFO1 cut is there, perfect. And then you can do the same with the mandible. Mandible is here. So you go there, you select the mandible. We don't need these planes. I remove the clip depth, I delete the planes, and I'm going to start. If you want more clarity, you can just hide the upper ones. You go here, you create a plane. So to create the mandible cuts, BSSO cut, what you can do is you can create the plane like this. and then you can place the planes here like this. This is not the most user-friendly tool in the 3D slicer, but you can get this to work for you, and make sure that this side of the plane is towards this side. So you can make this cut like this. So cuts are moving like this, and then you can add the other planes. So angle is not the best, but for this purpose I will leave it at that. It's because of the angle this part of the condyle is cut, but that's fine for the demonstration purpose. And then you can do the same for the other side. But make sure you select the right. So this is the last clip part, so make sure you have select the correct model. Again, you have to adjust this, making sure that the plane is oriented in the right side. So you can orient it like this, and then you can append the next I want to cut this part, so what I will do is like this. Once you clip it, so it makes the cut. So if you're happy with it, you just leave it at that. So you have the distal segments and the proximal segment like this. So once you have it, then you have all the parts that you need. You can give different colors. And you can rename them as the distal and the left side proximal, right side proximal. Sorry, this is not the right side proximal, this is the, we don't need this, is the right side proximal segment. Right, left, yeah. So this is the LIFO1 and this is the remaining skull or the maxilla. Sorry, yeah. So these are our osteotomies. The next step is the moving this bone. So to move the bone, what you can do is you can create a transformation. So suppose you want to move the LIFO1 segment, you go and you create a new interaction like this. So it will auto create the transformation for you, and for you to, so if you move it like this, it will just move from this point. So the first thing is to orient this, because this has taken the center of the full skull where we did the separation. So what I do is, you can go to the slice view and you can press down Alter and then click here and drag this. Make sure you press the Alter, then only it moves correctly, and then you can place this wherever you want to make the pivot point for this movement. So in the slices view, you can get exactly where you want it. So likewise, that the movement will happen around that. So this is fantastic for where you need the rotations of the maxilla and complex movements. You can move this around, and then from there you can do the movements, but make sure you to press the Alter button when you move this, otherwise it will move the segment. So once you do that, you can create the transformations you want. And if you want to move this intra-oral scan with you, what you have to do is go to the intra-oral scan, that is the upper one, and you go here, right click and apply the same transformation to that. And once you do that, both the segments will start to move together. So just to finish this case off, and then if you go to the edit transformation properties, you can see all the movements. If you want to make fine movements like in orthognathic surgery, you can make them fine, so these movements become very fine. And same with the rotations. So if you are happy with your upper jaw, you can move this and you can see how much it moves. So once you are happy with the movement, you can disable this scan and then go to the mandible. Again you have to do the interaction. Again you have to make sure what's your pivot point is. You have to decide where it is and make sure you press Alter when you do this. So I will just set back, and as you can see, since I only applied the transformation to the mandible segment, the intra-oral scan is not moving. So I have to go to the intra-oral scan and add that movement. So once it is done, you can see it moves nicely. And if you want to, if you are happy with this, this is it. But if you want to auto-rotate the mandible and close the jaw, what you can do is you can apply this transformation as a fixed transformation. So what you have to do is harden the transformations. Once you are happy with this, you can harden the transformation, and then you can create another transformation for this one, closing the mandible. But what I prefer to do is I prefer to move the condyles. So I go to the interaction here and make sure this is between the two condyles. What you can do is to center, you can shift and press where you want, and all the other slices will go to that place. So it's here. So I want this to move between the condyles and the height to be around the same place, and then I want to close this mandible. But before that, I will apply the same transformation to all the segments of the mandible, so everything will move together. So again, I have to harden the lower one and then apply it, then everything will move nicely all together. So basically that's it. So if you are happy with the movement, the next step is to create the splint. If you want to transform this further, you can again do that. If you are not happy with the movements, but make sure you properly harden the transformations before you do the other movement, otherwise it will reset into the previous positions. So once it's done, make sure you harden everything, and then next step is to create the splint. So to create the splint, what you can do is you have to go to the segment editor here, and so the splint will be created. So I will hide all the other models. So this is where you want the splint to be created. So this is the intra-oral scan model. I will harden the transformation in this one as well. So what I will be doing is I want to convert this into segments. So I will click here. I will convert the model to segmentation node. It comes here, and I do the same to the lower one. It comes here, but I want them both in the same one. So I drag and drop. I don't need this fold anymore. So I have these segments. These are now two segments. So once I have it, I go to the segment editor. I select the segmentation. I select the same one as the same source volume as the CBCT. It doesn't matter which CBCT, but as long as you have a volume. So once I have it, now I can add the splint. So this is the splint I want to do. So I go here, so these are the teeth. This is the our new moved segment. So I can go to the scissors tool, fill inside, make sure I allow overlap, but make sure I fill outside all segments. So once I have it, there are many ways you can do this. One easy way is you can put the symmetry and say you need 5 millimeter thickness. You go to the center of the two volumes here, and then you draw around the segment you want. So this is one way of creating this. Other one is to just to say I want this part and this part to be covered. So this will have the indentation which we need, and then you just use these tools to erase around what you don't want. So likewise you can get the splint made simply with the slice only. Other ways to use these plan models onto a mesh mixture or something and create this splint, but this is more than good enough for you to create with the 3D slicer alone, and it works really nice. So you just need to play around with this and adjust the splint to the way you want. And once you have it, you can put a smoothing function here, from here, joint smoothing, so it will not lose the details. Make sure you visualize them everywhere, and you can apply it to the segment, and this will you go to the joint smoothing first, and then you unselect the scanners, only the one that you want the smoothing to be applied, and then you apply it, and it will smoothen the thing without losing the details here with the joint smooth. And you can use these other tools in the 3D slicer to get the splint in the way that you want. You can edit it like this. So that is how you create the Splint, and once you have the Splint, you can export. I will name it as a Splint. You can export from here, export to files. You can select the folder that you want this, and the STL, and which segments you want. So you get the Splint, but of course you have to work on the Splint and get it nicer. But this is the basic workflow for orthognathic surgical planning with the 3D slicer. Even though it is not as straightforward as the commercial softwares, but it is capable of doing this orthognathic planning with little bit of hassle, but it's worth when you consider it's completely free for you to use. Thank you.